Imagine achieving everything you've ever dreamed of and still feeling an emptiness that's impossible to ignore. This is the story of Alan, an ordinary programmer who turned an idea into millions of dollars. But what seemed like the happy ending of a movie became the beginning of a journey filled with unexpected challenges, tough choices, and an exciting twist that changed his life forever. Stay until the end to discover how he found the true meaning of success. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and come be inspired by this transformative story. Another month in the red, I whispered to myself, staring at the computer screen that showed my negative bank balance. It was a Friday night, and while my fellow programmers celebrated the weekend at some bar, I was there, drowning in worries in my small one-bedroom apartment. My name is Alan, I'm 34 years old, and no matter how hard I try, it feels like I'm stuck in an endless cycle of overdue bills and postponed dreams. My desk is covered with post-its filled with codes and reminders of pending payments. The overdue rent, the credit card installments piling up, all of this while I work in a gray cubicle for 10 hours a day. Alan, you need to be more realistic. My mother's words echoed in my mind every time I mentioned my dreams of creating something big. Son, having a stable job is already a blessing these days. That night, after yet another exhausting day debugging others' codes, I received a message from my best friend, Mike. Hey man. You in for beers tonight? I can't, Mike. I need to reorganize my finances. Not this again. You work too much and live too little, Alan. You need to have some fun. Maybe next month. I turned off my phone and threw myself onto the worn-out sofa I bought on clearance. The ceiling fan made an annoying noise, reminding me that I didn't even have money to fix the little things. Turning on my laptop, I began aimlessly browsing YouTube, looking for some distraction. That's when an ad caught my attention. It was different from the usual get-rich-overnight scams. The man spoke about mindset, about the law of attraction, but in a way that made sense. You can be, do, or have anything you want. The only limit is the one you set in your mind. Normally, I would have skipped this type of content. But something about those words struck a chord with me. Maybe it was exhaustion, maybe desperation, or maybe, just maybe, it was the universe sending me a sign. What if? I thought to myself, what if I could actually create something worth millions? I grabbed an old notebook and wrote, even feeling a bit silly, I will create something innovative that will be worth $100 million. The next day, during coffee at work, I shared this idea with a few colleagues. 100 million? Are you crazy, Alan? Thomas laughed, nearly choking on his coffee. Get back to reality, man. Sarah, the only one who didn't laugh, looked at me with a mix of pity and concern. Alan, dreaming is important, but you need to be realistic. Why not start with something smaller? But for the first time in a long time, something inside me refused to diminish my dreams. That feeling that something big was coming wouldn't leave me. And even without fully understanding why, I decided this time would be different. This time, I wouldn't let anyone extinguish my flame. I woke up at 5 a.m., even before the alarm went off. It was strange, but since I started practicing meditation and positive affirmations, my body seemed to have found a new rhythm. Sitting on the living room rug, with the rising sunlight streaming through the window, I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. I am capable. I have all the necessary skills. Success is inevitable, I repeated mentally, as I had learned in the video. Suddenly, something clicked. Amidst the silence of meditation, I clearly visualized artificial intelligence. That was it. For years, I had worked with AI on smaller projects, but always following others' orders. Why not create something of my own? Hey, you won't believe it. I texted Mike as soon as I got to work. I had an amazing idea. Here you go again with your crazy plans, he replied with a laughing emoji. At lunch, I explained my project to him. Just think, AI software that automates repetitive tasks for tech companies. Something that saves time and money. Mike frowned. How much do you need to start this? That's the problem, about $50,000, at least. Dude, you barely have money for rent, he said, worried. How are you going to get that? I returned to my desk deep in thought. I opened my old laptop, the one that sometimes froze just by opening the browser, and began to write the initial code. The screen flickered occasionally, as if begging for retirement. If you act as if it's already a reality, the universe will find a way to help, I repeated the phrase from the video like a mantra. In the following weeks, I established a routine. Regular work during the week, project work on the weekends. Extra strong coffee and pure determination kept me up late. Sarah passed by my desk one afternoon. Alan, you look tired. Are you still on that $1 million idea? It's not just an idea, Sarah. I'm building something real, I replied, showing her some lines of code. She looked genuinely interested this time. You know, my brother works with startups. Maybe. I don't need anyone's approval, I politely interrupted. I know it sounds crazy, but I feel like I'm on the right track. At night, alone at home, I looked at my bank account again. $247. 53, barely enough for a week's groceries. But something had changed in me. The fear still existed, of course, but now there was something stronger, conviction. If others managed to start from scratch, why can't I? I said aloud to the empty apartment while typing a few more lines of code on my project that I was sure would change my life forever. More coffee? Asked the waitress, looking with pity at my deep dark circles. Please, I replied, as I stared at the screen of my laptop in the 24-hour diner. It was my third night in a row staying up late. The code was almost ready, but my mind wouldn't stop questioning. What if it goes wrong? My phone vibrated. Message from my mom. Son, that manager position at your uncle's company is still open. Think about it. I sighed deeply. The week before, during Sunday lunch, I had to endure an entire family sermon. Alan, you need to be realistic, my dad said. Startups? Artificial intelligence? That's for people who already have money. Dad, the world has changed. Today anyone can. Not anyone, son. Look at our reality. I went home that day with an extra weight on my shoulders. Maybe they were right. After all, who did I think I was? At work, things weren't any different. Hey, Mark Zuckerberg. Tom mocked as he walked by my desk. How's the billion-dollar company going? Sarah, who always tried to be kind, didn't help much either. Alan, you're too smart to waste your time like this. Why not try something more secure? One night, frustrated, I posted about my project on a tech forum. I wasn't expecting anything more than a few technical tips. 3 days later, I received an email. Interesting approach to AI automation. Can we talk? David M. I thought it was a joke. David was a well-known angel investor in Silicon Valley. Why would he be interested in my project? We scheduled a video call. My hands were sweating so much that I could barely type. Your code is raw, he said, but it has potential. I'm willing to invest $50,000 to see where this goes. I was silent for a few seconds. Alan? Are you still there? Yes, just processing. Look, he continued, it's not a lot of money in the startup world. But it's enough for you to get started. That night, lying in bed, an insistent voice echoed in my head, what if you fail? What if you lose everything? What if? I looked at the ceiling, remembering the words about manifestation. Fear and doubt are natural. But they cannot be stronger than your dreams. The money was in the account, but the real challenge was just beginning. And I knew I would need much more than code and investment to turn this dream into reality. I sat in my new office, still in disbelief. I had just hired our first employee, a brilliant developer named Kevin. So, when do we start? He asked excitedly. Yesterday, I replied, laughing. The base code is ready, but we need to make it scalable. In the following weeks, our small rented office came to life. 2 more developers joined the team. The smell of strong coffee and the sound of keyboards filled the space. Alan, tech giant, wants a demo of the software, said Rachel, our new sales manager. On Friday. I swallowed hard. Tech Giant was one of the largest tech companies in the country. During the presentation, I sweated cold. Our solution reduces the time spent on repetitive tasks by 70%, I explained, trying to keep my voice steady. Their CEO leaned forward, impressive. How much to implement it across our operation? $2 million, I said, praying it didn't sound absurd. Deal, he replied without hesitation. When can we start? I returned to the office in shock. We did it! I shouted as I walked in. The team erupted in celebration. Tech Giant's success opened doors. Soon, other big companies started calling. Mr. Allen, Tech Weekly wants to do a feature on you, my assistant said one day. About me? I asked, surprised. Yes. They want to know how an ordinary developer created one of the year's most promising startups. On a quiet afternoon, I received an email that changed everything. Dear Alan, we would like to discuss the acquisition of your company. Initial offer, $100 million. Sincerely, Global Tech Ventures. I showed the email to Kevin, who had been with me from the start. Is this real? I asked. Very real, he replied, smiling. You did it, man. You really did it. At the contract signing for the sale, I remembered those nights in the 24-hour diner, the doubts, the fear. Now, I was selling my company for an amount I could hardly imagine 2 years ago. How do you feel? A reporter asked after the signing. Grateful, I replied, with tears in my eyes. And ready to help others realize their dreams too. That night, alone at home, I picked up my old laptop. It still worked, albeit with difficulty. There was the beginning of it all. A reminder that the greatest successes start with small steps and a lot of faith. On an ordinary Tuesday, I stared at the panoramic view from my new penthouse apartment. A dining table for 12 people, completely empty. I picked up my phone. Hi Mom, how are you? I was thinking of coming over on Sunday. Sorry son, your dad isn't feeling very well. Maybe another day? I hung up. It had been 3 months since I last saw them. In fact, I hardly saw anyone besides my team. Mr. Allen, your ex-fiancée Lisa called again, my assistant informed me through the intercom. Tell her I'm in a meeting, I replied automatically. Lisa, we broke up 6 months ago. You've changed, she said. You only talk about work, numbers, investments. That night, alone as always, I was browsing the news when I saw the headline, Tech Giant lays off 5,000 employees after AI implementation. My heart froze. It was our technology. Alan, we need to talk. Kevin entered my office the next morning, throwing a newspaper on the table. Did you see this? I did. It wasn't supposed to be like this, he said, running his hands through his hair. We wanted to help companies, not destroy lives. I tried to defend myself. These are corporate decisions, Kevin. We have no control over. But we have responsibility, he interrupted. Remember when we started? We wanted to make a difference, not just make money. That afternoon, I received a message from Mike, my old work friend. Hey millionaire, remember me? LOL. Sarah was fired today. Apparently, an AI software will do her job now. Ironic, right? My stomach churned. Sarah, who always supported me. During dinner, alone, as always, I looked at my reflection in the window. Italian suit worth $5,000, luxury watch, but deep dark circles and an emptiness in my gaze. I picked up my old manifestation journal. On the first page, I had written, I want to create something that makes a difference in people's lives. Make a difference. I murmured. What kind of difference am I making? My phone rang. It was an unknown number. Mr. Allen? This is from the ER. Your father had a mild heart attack. He's stable, but... I dropped the phone. Amid all the achievements, meetings, and millions, I had forgotten what really mattered. The money was in the account, but my soul was bankrupt. What's the point of all this success, I thought, if I have no one to share it with? I parked my car in front of the cafe where Sarah had asked to meet me. My hands trembled on the steering wheel. Take a deep breath, I told myself. You need to face this. The doorbell rang as I entered. Sarah was sitting in a corner, stirring her coffee. She looked different, lighter, perhaps? Hi Sarah, Sit down, Alan, she smiled. It wasn't what I expected. Look, about your job, I'm really sorry. Stop, she raised her hand. You don't owe me an apology. Actually, I wanted to thank you. I blinked in confusion. Thank me? Losing that job was the best thing that ever happened to me. She pulled out a card from her bag. I started my own consulting business. I'm earning 3 times more and, for the first time, I love what I do. But I thought that I would be devastated? At first, yes. But you know that saying about doors closing and windows opening? It's real. That night, I couldn't sleep. Sarah's words echoed in my mind. I called Kevin. What if we were wrong about everything? I asked. What do you mean? What if the change our technology causes isn't good or bad, just change? The next day, I organized a meeting with my team. Guys, I want to create a fund. $10 million to help people who lost their jobs start their own businesses. Rachel, our manager, leaned forward, like Sarah. Exactly. Training, mentoring, seed capital. That doesn't solve everything, someone commented. No, I agreed. But it's a start. Weeks later, I received an email from a former employee at tech giant, Mr. Allen. When your AI replaced me, I thought my life was over. Today, I have a successful startup that helps others in career transition. Thank you for forcing me out of my comfort zone. Signed, Maria. Sitting in my office, I looked at the city through the window. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange. Sometimes we need to lose everything to find something greater, I murmured. I picked up my phone. Hi Lisa. I know it's been a while, but can we talk? I thought you'd never call, she replied. I smiled. Sometimes, true success isn't in what we achieve but in how we use those achievements to make a difference. And that difference starts when we stop running from who we are. A year later, I stood in a packed auditorium. Not to talk about technology or millions, but about purpose. When I had $10 in the bank, I thought money would solve everything. I began. When I had $100 million, I realized that money only solves money problems. A young woman raised her hand. How do you balance success and happiness? Funny you should ask, I smiled. Just yesterday, I was having dinner with my parents. And my mom commented, "Son, you seem lighter." I am, Mom. I finally understood that wealth isn't just what's in the bank. Back on stage, I continued, our fund has already helped 500 people start their businesses. But you know what makes me happiest? Seeing my ex-fiancée, now my wife, smile beside me every morning. Lisa, sitting in the front row, smiled. Last week, I visited Maria, one of the first beneficiaries of the fund. Her cafe is booming. Alan, she hugged me tightly. Look at this, she pointed to the crowded tables. It all started with that little push you gave me. On stage, I picked up my old notebook. Remember this, manifesting wealth isn't about having millions. It's about creating value. For you and for others. Kevin, now my partner in the fund, approached me after the talk. Remember when we thought we had messed everything up? How could I forget? But look, I showed him pictures of the new entrepreneurs. Sometimes we need to break old structures to build something better. At home, Lisa hugged me. I'm proud of you, you know? Even when I mess up? I joked. Especially when you mess up and learn. Sitting on the porch, looking at the stars, I reflected. Money gave me freedom, yes. But true wealth? It's in the smiles of entrepreneurs realizing their dreams. In the embrace of my parents. In the love regained. I picked up my current journal and wrote, Dear Universe, thank you for teaching me that manifesting abundance goes beyond the material. True manifestation is when your success overflows and helps others shine. My phone vibrated. It was a message from Sarah. Guess what? I opened my second location. Want to grab a coffee? I smiled. Life is funny. Sometimes we need to lose our way to find our true direction. And you, who are listening to me now, what story do you want to manifest? Remember, your dreams are seeds. Plant them with purpose, water them with action, and watch them grow. If you were moved by this story and believe that big dreams can change lives, like the video, leave a comment about what inspired you the most, and share your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more impactful stories like this one. Together, let's spread inspiration and hope. Until next time.